Hello, Steve here. Welcome to Real Health. Who'd have thought health is about what we're eating? Join me on my quest to disseminate my go-to health regimen, the Health 44, my clumsy branding of eliminating 4 classes of food, introducing 4 classes of micronutrients. Bingo, bongo, health sorted. So thank you for your interest. Let's do this. Here we go. You've clicked on today's episode, germ theory versus terrain theory versus micronutrients. I should have put a teaser in there. The 2.2 regulars will understand that I'll go towards the micronutrients, but it's important to understand how we got to, why we gravitate to the germ theory and then the terrain theory. Usually terrain theory people are just dissenters from the germ theory people. So in the whole theory, the word of theory, people think theory, oh, a theory, a theory is quite established in the field of knowledge, epistemology, scientifically. You can't, the highest, or the highest, yes, the highest on the totem pole is the axiom. 2 and 2 is 4, A is A, and yes, we do get those types that will say 2 and 2 may not equal 4 and all that sort of thing. 2 clouds plus 2 clouds can sometimes equal 1 cloud, and then they break up and then there's 3 clouds. So here's the hierarchy as I see knowledge. There's an idea, then there's a notion. Notion and an idea can be interchangeably used. Then you get the hypothesis, then you get the theory, which most people work on. You can actually build a bridge and a 50 or 100-story building with theories. And then we have the axioms. So theory is pretty established. So someone that would suggest that germ theory is just a theory. Germ theory is just a theory. Well, we've been working on it. Our whole health existence is based on germ theory. And you wouldn't be able to build a bridge without the theory of steel, load, bearing, all this sort of stuff. And the same sort of thing as saving someone from an infection that they're certainly sepsis, that they're certainly going to die from. We have the whole antibiotics complex and that sort of thing. So theories are pretty important, even though people misuse the word theory. So we've got the whole story of how germ theory came into play. The late 18th century, 1795, 1798, good old Edward Jenner would suggest, overheard the old milkmaids and all that sort of thing. I won't go through the whole story because many people will understand that particular story, how we got to jibby jabs and all that sort of thing. You know that inoculation and vaccines are different modalities, different ideas, notions. A vaccine is basically based on bovine sources, where I think Jenner, we should have really called vaccines equazines, based on horses, because I think at some point, as part of the development of the whole vaccine idea, it was based on horse media. So anyway, that's just a quick bit of trivia. Around the early 19th century, 1805, in there somewhere, there's Jenner versus the Béchamp. Béchamp lived to be in his 90s, around 93 or so. I don't recall exactly what age he passed at, but Jenner only got to his 70s, mid-70s perhaps. And there's these famous ideas, famous story that, what Jenner said at his deathbed. I don't know. I'm not going to go there. So we've got a lot of our health complex based on germ theory and prophylactically using antibiotics has some merit. We've our whole complex in avoiding disease is based on germ theory, but Béchamp, less of a promoter, less of a spokesperson, less of a push it to Parliament type of guy, lost the race. Jenner was very pushy, well-spoken, and lobbied Parliament much better to introduce vaccines into the whole health complex. And then the whole idea of vaccines inserted itself into allopathic medicine. So which one is better? I'm not going to take sides because I'm going to take sides of the micronutrients. The terrain people are on the side of there's nothing that's out there that wants to come in and kill us. What's maybe out there there might be. I don't think there is, but there still might be, because the reason why I say might be, because back when ethical standards weren't of the highest quality, people were doing ghastly experiments, putting a whole mush of the brains of some animals into the brains of other animals. Oh, look, they died because they've got the mush from that sick animal, and now the healthy animal is dead. That's quite ghastly, an experiment. And with the terrain theory people, healthy body, healthy environment equals health, or avoidance of illness. So that's where we're at there. If I had a choice only between germ theory and terrain theory, well, I'd probably favour terrain theory, because there's not things that are out there that want to enter us and to kill us. Let's not forget that germ theory started around the times when we used to think that we're smelling the bakery, therefore we're going to gain weight. So there was a whole theory. There was before germ theory. So before germ theory became established, a theory, there was what's the theory predating germ theory? It's escaped me. But basically, smells, foul air, will ail us. So it may come to me, it may not. The 2.2 regulars will probably know. They're screaming at the screen. So the same idea where the terrain theory argument would get some gusto, get some credibility, some following, would be, well, if the dolphin is sick, you're not going to get blood tests from the dolphin and do all these tests. What's in the water? That's the first thing you should go for. So that's where terrain theory comes, where like, what if this person is sick? What's in the air? But this is where terrain theory falls over a little bit. If there's an overt relationship between foul environment or your own body. Why shouldn't more people that have a bad health state become ill of that particular illness? That's where micronutrients comes in as the savior, the proper, or the more proper idea in health. If Louis, I'm going to mention Pasteur, but Pasteur was the bacteria chap. If Jenner lived to 70-ish, 75, let's say, Beauchamp into his 90s, well, the person that, let's call it micronutrient theory, they should get to 120. I started late. I was about 47 when I first stumbled. I really did stumble onto micronutrients as a modality. Does it even class as a health modality? Perhaps it should. And I haven't looked back. So if I lived around the time of Jenner and Beauchamp, hopefully I could have got to around the age of 120. I probably won't get to 120 because I had started so late. I was even born with some congenital issues, eyesight being one of them. That's why I'm still wearing glasses. And but micronutrients will improve our state, our health state. We've already established that micronutrient deficiencies leads to obesity, diabetes, blood pressure issues, cholesterol. We don't really understand cholesterol too well. Even in my space, there's a lot more to cholesterol. Well, particularly the cholesterol levels, what I'm really referring to. Cholesterol is very important. It's an essential nutrient, and we need to increase our saturated fat intake. Ever since I got off the gluten, started my micronutrients, increased my saturated fat intake, I've never looked back. And that is not just the thing that would work for me. That will work for everybody. And the reason why, if anyone started that and they're still not too happy after a few months, well, I need to give it time. Need to give it time. Your food prep is an issue. Are you still eating gluten? Even oats has gluten in it, even though the pro-inflammatory cytokine, the protein in the oats, is called gliadin, it is still a gluten. So you'll already know that I'm in favor of the micronutrients. Terrain theory probably trumps germ theory, but germ theory feeds into people's sensibilities, their vulnerabilities, their fear of becoming sick. And usually the fear of becoming sick is bugs. The whole bug theory idea, that's germ theory. And there's this whole idea that the Westerners, the English, gave infected blankets and whatnot to the Indians, and that's how the Indians perished and that sort of thing. There was a lot more involved, I suspect, but the English didn't really know the whole idea of transmissible disease, germ theory. It only became a theory in the way later 19th century, in the 1890s. Florence Nightingale gave some further impetus to the terrain theory. Clean air, fresh air, clean clothing and bed linen for your patience, washing your hands. This is after Mr. Semmelweis perished from observing that digging your hands into a corpse and then delivering babies led to the death of babies and mother. So Florence Nightingale probably should have belonged to the terrain theory side of things. Current day mainstream healthcare complex is germ theory related because that's, let's face it, that's the schooling that we have. Myself as a former registered nurse, I was in that space. The whole infectious disease unit in the hospital based on germ theory. So within this whole podcast series, and now I'm doing videos, micronutrients will be your better savior versus any other medical theory that's out there. There's the herbs and aromatherapy people with the whole poultices thing and whatever else they do. I came across at some point the whole idea of, what was it? Onions in your socks and never get sick again, all that sort of thing. Well, you better be taking in the micronutrients. You better be doing the whole Health 44, and then germ theory and terrain theory will be with the dodo bird. There are some, there will be some question marks with what really ails us, but we have much established proof that we need 90 declared essential micronutrients. It's not just humans, it's all vertebrates for that matter, according to body weight. So, and why I suggest micronutrients, because all my ills were sorted with micronutrients, and it will be sorted. 600, 800 different diseases. It will sort your ailment, because our ailments are a micronutrient deficiency issue. It is not germs. It is our environment if you account for perhaps different chemicals and air quality. That's like a cherry on top, like a downstream issue. If you are satiated with all the micronutrients, the air quality, the toxins, and the like will have less impact on you. Even if vaccines do have a great efficacy, maybe they do. I'm not sure. There's a lot of opposition out there. How are you going to absorb those jabs? We don't even understand fully the what's it called? There's the kinetic idea, how the drug gets to the site. There's the distribution, pharmacodistribution, pharmacokinetics, and there's one more, distribution, in what way it distributes. We don't even understand that. So how can we suggest that vaccines are the be-all and end-all in health? If you're a stickler, a terrain theory Nazi, what happens if you become a vegan and you're not getting enough vitamin B12, all the other B vitamins for that matter, and not getting enough protein, amino acids, branched chain amino acids, and you drink while you eat, terrain theory won't work either. So if you do the Health 44, you'll be satiated with the micronutrients that we require, all 90 declared essential micronutrients, by ensuring that you digest, increasing salt intake. If you've still got issues, you need to take some gastric enzymes, and then wean yourself off that, absorb, and then have daily dependable supply of the micronutrients. That should be the new go-to theory of health. It is the go-to theory for me, but I'm talking about the rest of the populace. So just finally, what I suggest here is my regimen, the whole Health 44, the first four, the 44, which would equal health, is taking away, most people will guess, processed foods and all that, but more specific, glutens, wheat, barley, rye, oats, oils, all burnt animal fat, oils in a bottle, and fried food out, sugars, the toxic sugars, the table sugar, and I would suggest drastically or even eliminating fruit intake. You can't say that. Well, I can, and I have, and I'm partaking in it. I probably have 2 handfuls like this of particular fruit in a whole year, and the risk reward of fruit intake is way more risk with the overt sugar content, which is quite toxic to our physiology. We only need 5 grams for our energy needs. And nitrates brings out the first 4, the 44 we need to take out, which is the new carcinogen in town, mainly the nitrites injected in or found and added to processed meats for the curing, for the preservative factor, and for the taste, I guess. Get off that. I loved my salami before. Lucky I didn't get the dreaded C. And then you bring in the 4 micronutrients, the four classes of micronutrients. There's 90 declared essential micronutrients, and 60 of those are minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 essential fatty acids. It's not instant like the instant relief of an anti reflux medication, for example. It's not that instant, but once you work out those micronutrient deficiencies, for me it was fairly sudden. 4 days I felt relief of a few symptoms here and there. After a month I started to drop weight much more, and here I am, healthy body weight. Well, BMI would suggest I'm obese. I'm obese, but I'm not. I'm just that sort of composition. So that's the Health 44, which I would suggest the world takes on. There are other regimens out there which suggest micronutrients and all that, but we need to be digesting, increase the salt intake. We need to absorb, especially get off the glutens, take in dependable daily supply. Then there's that trio of essentials, and our 600 or 800 diseases, which relates to thousands of other diseases. Many diseases are different manifestations of the same disease. We just call it different because it's in a different part of our body. So there you go. I thought I had the preceding theory of health before germ theory. Is it going to come to me? No, it's not. Anyway, so I'll wrap up. I'll leave it there. Perhaps germ theory was a good starting point to increase our scientific inquiry, our more scientific world back at those times, germ theory was a good counter, a more robust modality in itself. If you're in a coal mine and you die of black lung, well, there is a reason why you died of black lung. So terrain theory has its necessity in the process, but the ultimate for now, is it the ultimate forever? Perhaps as well. Micronutrients. Micronutrients is where we should aim our health sites. If we don't understand micronutrients, we won't be living past 100. Yes, there has been centenarians and super centenarians out there in the past. It's just blind luck, unintended. Not many of those 110 plus year old people were athletes or gym rats. They were active, but they weren't, they weren't competitive or professionals, that's for sure. They didn't work too hard. If they did work too hard, they'd be supplementing, intended or unintended. They would have had ample micronutrients in their, especially during their birth or conception and beyond. That's why back 100 years ago, 25 out of 10,000 people lived to the age of 100. Now there's only 1 per 10,000 people that live to the age of 100. So I'll just leave it there. I know I stumbled a little bit, and I was distracted by not knowing the preceding health theory or illness theory before germ theory, but and I was still trying to grasp at it, but it didn't come, did it? So I'll leave it there. I know it's a mishmash. I know it's low production quality. It's getting a little bit better. I'll get better by preparing better, but this is all you're getting when I only have 2.2 listeners and viewers. So until the next time, bye-bye.